Most people hear the finished song, but they never really see everything it took to get there. And that process is what shapes the record. Welcome to Titan Sound Sessions. This is where we explore the process behind creation. A lot of times when people hear a finished record, they think it started in the studio. They think it started with the beat, the hook, or the session. And a lot of times it starts way before that. In those times that I'm talking about, they start with an idea, a feeling, a direction, a moment someone's trying to capture. And what most people never really see is how much shaping, refining, and the decision-making it takes to get it from the first idea to the final version that everyone hears. So in this session, I want to break that down. Not how a record is technically made, but how it's actually built. For me, a record usually starts well before the studio session ever happens. So where does a record usually start? One, you're inspired. You're inspired by something. You're inspired by something you see. You're inspired by something you hear. You're inspired by a memory, a smell, a fragrance, something you tasted. Inspiration hits. Now, once inspiration is there, then a concept begins to form. Now that concept is triggering a mood. Is it a happy mood? Is it a sad mood? Is it an angry mood? Is it a fit of passion, fit of rage? Something is giving this concept color. And now it's turning into an idea before the session. Because now that the inspiration is there, you have a concept, you have the mood, your idea has a foundation now. And once that idea is there, that's when the real building starts. Not the polished version that people hear at the end. I'm talking about the early version, your rough draft, your skeleton. This is what we're going to call the first shape of the record. So now we're at the early building stage. You have a rough draft, you have a skeleton, you have your rough beat idea. Now we're thinking about the writing direction of the idea. Because remember, here at Titan Sound Sessions, we're always talking about full songs, not just music, but music, lyric, and melody, a full record. So just food for thought when you're creating, always create with the writing in mind, the artist in mind. You want to make room. You don't want to overcrowd stuff. So just put a pin in that. We have the writing direction. What's the reference point? So when you think of reference point, maybe you'll think about tight beats, right? And then tight beats, it always has the artist that they have in mind. J. Cole type beat, Drake type beat, Kendrick Lamar type beat, Glorilla type beat, Jhené Aiko type beat. Those are your reference points, right? And it don't have to be new. It could be older legacy reference points as well too. Marvin Gaye reference points. We're going to come back to that. So now you have your rough draft, you have your writing direction, you have your reference point. Now we want to think about what gives the record identity. Now, why is that important? You want to create things that people are going to remember. You don't want to create something that's just going to get lost in the playlist shuffle. You want to create something that's going to be around for a long time, something that's going to stand the test of time. So with that, what is going to be the identifying moment for this record? What's going to separate it from the rest of the pack? Because remember, we talked about in session 1, millions of songs are released daily, weekly, continuously. How is your song going to stand out from the rest? So when we think about the process from idea to the record identity, what's really interesting, the record doesn't stay in its first form for very long. Because once other people start to touch it, artist, producer, engineer, whoever is shaping the record begins to evolve. You're getting input from the artist, you're getting input from songwriters, you're getting input from composers, from engineers. A lot of people in the room are lending their gifts and talents to the song, and the song begins to evolve. It begins to expand. And now you have to make producer decisions. Which input works best for the song? You may take a piece of everybody's input. You may keep some, reject the others, but that's the important part of being a producer. You have to make those decisions, help shape the record, which leads to changes that happen. I believe it's the most underestimated part of this process. Creators often underestimate the amount of refinement that happens from the initial idea to the final product. Great records don't just happen, they evolve. When you think about the amount of hands that touch and shape a record, how it grows from your original idea to that finished product, there's a lot of revisions, a lot of changes that take place. And that's the part that people never really see. They hear the final version, but they never see all the revision, all the adjustments, all the invisible work that goes into this process. Now, speaking of that invisible work, let's talk about those hidden things that people don't see. It's not uncommon to have version 11 of song A, version 18, version 20. Those are all revisions. Version 15, new verse. Version 16, alternate hook. Version 20, new bridge, alternate ending. Arrangements, the song's arrangements change. You may have initially started out with the hook going into the first verse. Maybe after conversations and trying new things, maybe now we want to do intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus. Switching up the arrangements, this still falls under the umbrella of revisions. Technical cleanup, very important. Just ask your engineers. Making sure your tracks are labeled correctly. Getting rid of the bad takes, scrubbing your takes. Just making the next phase of the shaping process easier for the person that's going to be running point on that segment, and that's your engineers. The finished record is usually a result of a lot of invisible decisions. And honestly, I think that's where a lot of creators get frustrated. Because if you don't understand that this part is normal, I'm not speaking about the revisions, the patience, the shaping, you start to expect that the first version is the final version, and that's usually never the case. So I actually want to take you guys through a song that I produced called Angels Fly. It features Trez Bell, who's an amazing R&B artist. I want to show how the idea came about, how I went from idea to concept, what the mood was behind it, how I arrived at the rough draft, the writing direction, the evolution of the song through collaborating, the hidden work behind it to get it from that initial concept and idea to the finished record that you hear. So to start, I was inspired by Jay Dilla and his drum sequencing and programming. So it gave me a concept of a gritty drum pattern. So I stacked a lot of kicks, I stacked a lot of snares. I used sound effects as drums. I turned quantization completely off. Nothing is on the grid, which helped me create a natural feel to the rhythm section. It didn't feel like it was on the grid. My creators, you know what that means. If you don't, when you have quantization on, it snaps to whatever the setting is, whether it's 8th notes, 16th notes, whatever your setting is, the drums will snap to the grid so your drumming is tight. I had that feature off. So when I programmed the drums, it had a natural feel to it. The rhythm had a life of its own. And being that I started out on drums, my rhythm section is pretty good. So I created the rhythm that I want, and the drums they're hitting. They are hitting. The idea I'm having is starting to take shape, and then I come across a sample pack from producer Ben Ford, who's a good friend. He had a very interesting sample that I was like, well, let me use this. I chopped that up and fit it to the track that I have. And now my idea has a foundation, and now the concept is coming to me. I want to create an R&B song that goes across multiple eras. I said it would be fun to capture the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s on one song. So I have the 90s drums and grit. I have that. I have the 2000s melody that I got from producer Ben Ford. Now, how can I get the 80s? I immediately hear Sam Mandell.
So, my friend, we're talking about Angels Fly, and I'm literally breaking down how the record evolved through collaboration, each step away from the inspiration to the idea to the first shape of the record, and then how each person touched the song and added their own special thing to it that took the song from a vibe to a phenomenal record. And you play such a pivotal role that at that point, when you got the song, it was an instrumental. The vocals weren't even on the song yet, and neither were the other things that came later. I hit you up and I had this idea of creating that 80s era with guitar. And I just gave you the concept and you just took it to another stratosphere, man. Can you walk me through what your thought process was?
Yeah, so well for me, whenever I get a beat from you, and I say beat like with no, yeah, like you said, instrumental, no vocals, whenever I get something like that from you, I know I have a lot of room to kind of go wherever I want to go. Um, and the way we work together is always like, if it feels good, let's try it until it doesn't feel good anymore. And if it sounds good, then let's try it until it doesn't sound good anymore.
Right.
So, if I get a beat from you, that's really where I'm living. Um, and when someone says to me 80s, my mind goes right to tone. Um, I try to leave any pre-planned ideas to the side because I don't think that's how like the best stuff gets made. So I'm
Hmm.
always trying to like react to just whatever the record is, whatever the beat is like, and really just react in the moment. But when you say 80s, like I go right to tone, so I'm thinking like shimmery chorus. I'm thinking like crunchy overdrive, nothing too heavy, but nothing too clean either. And if it is clean, it's very shiny and shimmery with like chorus and delay and reverb. Like I'm just trying to get that tone, but obviously whatever we're doing, it's gonna be, with a more modern approach. But yeah, I mean that's kind of where my mind goes. Like I'm just reacting to whatever's in front of me and whatever you send, I always love whatever you send. So yeah, like I'm just trying to keep pace. Like if the beat of the instrumental or whatever you send me is fire, like I'm just trying to add more to that fire.
Bro, you never miss when we collaborate. You
Thanks,
never
man.
miss, and I love how you not only will you go in, but you'll do multiple takes. You give me so much to choose from, and to build around, man. Like your gift is amazing, bro,
Yeah,
and like
thank you.
you totally you blew my mind with how you responded to uh, the vision, and you really helped shape this record into a whole another lane. Because after you added your parts to the song, like I could see myself on the highway, West Coast,
Yeah, yeah.
sunset. Like you really gave it a whole other color. I think you made it so easy for Trez to get in his bag because that's the next stop. Like after you added your
Yeah.
part, that's when I sent the record to Trez, and that's when he took it so hard to level. Like each step of the process with this record, it just leveled up after each person touched it. Man, that's why it's definitely one of my favorite songs that I've done in the last couple of years because we tried to do something different. Okay, we literally did like 4 decades of music on one song.
Yeah.
and pulled it off. And
Nah,
it really came together.
yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, I think when you can get to a place where like your collaborators are not only playing their role, but like they're singing on it and they're shining on it, like that's a good place to be. And that's kind of that's kind of where I feel I can go whenever you send me something. Like there's a role to play, but there's also so much more to do with that role. Like, and if I'm just playing my role, then I like, and I'm only focused on that, then I think I'm not really doing the job I'm supposed to be doing. So
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second because I that's part of my like core belief when it comes to collaborating is that you have to get out the way and let the person contributing the room to be their authentic selves in that moment and really lend their gift to the song. And my vision is, if I bring the best of what I do and you bring the best of what you do, that's where the magic happens. If
yeah,
I
yeah,
come in and say, "Hey, give me this chord progression in A flat, give me a 6-2-5-1-4 turnaround." If I do that, I'm robbing you of your expression. And that's just my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah, for sure. I mean,
It's
that's kind of what I was saying earlier. Like you go with what sounds good until things stop sounding good, and like every direction you can go in that, like that's where we go.
yeah. And with that formula, my friend, we don't miss. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
but yeah, my friend, I definitely appreciate you, and we'll have more conversations. We definitely will.
Looking forward to it.
So as you see, that was Sam Mandell. He played guitar on Angels Fly. You heard it. You heard it from him. How the record shaped early, and how he was able to add his input, and that input helped determine the writing direction of the song. Now, with that writing direction, I immediately saw Trez Bell. Trez Bell is an amazing R&B artist. His vocal range, he has a classic R&B tone, and his range is vast from his tenor to his falsetto. Everything is done well. And my reference point for Angels Fly was Marvin Gaye. So that's my 70s era. I have my 2000s with the melody. I have my 90s with the drums. I have my 80s with the rock guitar. And now the vocal approach is 70s, and none other than Marvin Gaye is what I heard. I had to call Trez Bell to make it happen.
My
Let's
bro,
do it.
what's going on with you? What's going on with you, man? How you doing, man?
Double A, my guy, bro. I'm good, man. How are you, man? What's going on?
Listen, man, I'm talking to the people today about our record Angels Fly, which is still that deal. And I'm
Yes, sir.
going through how it was built from idea to the finished version that we love right now. And I'm at the point where create the beat. I got Sam Mandell on the guitar to give it that color to really start to bring the idea to life. And I'm at the point now where I called you with the idea and the vision, and
Yeah,
how I talked about, I saw Marvin Gaye, but the only person I could see pulling this off was you. So
crazy.
you get the beat. Tell me what goes through your head when you actually hear it.
So the beat, man, the beat. First of all, I mean, we've been working together for a while, and anytime you send me a track, it's crazy. But this one was special. Like, as soon as I heard it, I'm like, yo, this is different. And I knew it was gonna pull something out of me. And as a songwriter and an artist, when I hear a track, if it speaks to me, it makes it so much easier to write to it, to sing on it, rap on it, whatever I'm doing on it. And this was one of those records that was so easy because of the production you gave me was already to the point where it had me just spilling out emotion. And when you said Marvin Gaye, first of all, I was like, oh, dude, he said Marvin Gaye. Like that's not like a easy feat to do, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, I got a little bit nervous, But I said, nah. I love Marvin Gaye. My stepdad played Marvin Gaye all the time. So I knew the vibe. I knew what you wanted, and you kind of gave good direction. So once I heard the track, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, it just started speaking to me, bro. And it just started happening. The magic started happening immediately.
Bro, when I say you nailed it, and it's important that everybody understands that all I said was I'm hearing Marvin Gaye. Just listen to like I Want You, and that was it as far as direction. From there, I said, just bro, do what you feel, but that's what I hear, and you killed it, killed it. When I got it back, I'm like,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
we
Bro,
got one. Bro,
got
I
one, my
played,
brother.
and that was just like the rough reference. I played that for I don't know how many people, and everybody's reaction was the same. They was like, "What is happening, bro?" Because we did what you did. You helped bring that four eras of R&B music together. Like we got the soul of the '70s with Marvin. You totally bodied that, but you gave it a modern vibe. Like it's you. It ain't Marvin. It's you. But
Yeah, yeah.
we channeled that energy. Then I had the Sonics of the '80s with that rock guitar that Sam delivered, and then
Mhm.
Jay Hot came in at the end and just gave it that
Shit.
talk about. We gonna get to that in a second. And then the
Shit.
'90s drums, I got that Dilla-esque type vibe I was looking for there. And then the initial melody that I got from producer Ben Ford, and then Donald Junebug Rao coming over the top with the finisher to glue it all together, man. Like we really got four eras of music in that record, and what you did vocally, even with the subject matter, how creative you went there, because nobody understood what Angels Fly meant, but it was subliminal and sexy at the same time. And once you got it, he's like,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah.
you had to listen. So what inspired you to go that route with it?
Well, like I think a lot of our music, you know what I'm saying, unlike a lot of music from the earlier times, early R&B music, like a lot of times we get straight to it. We start talking crazy, and it's like when you really think about courting a woman, romancing a woman, especially when you get to the point of intimacy to that level, like you want to take your time and you don't want to be so just like you know what I'm saying? So back in the
Yeah,
day, there was more subtle with it. There was more subliminal with it. You know what I'm saying? And hell, actually, Marvin Gaye, when he did "Let's Get It On," that was probably one of the most forward songs of the time because he really just saying "Let's do it." But most of the time, they were more smooth with it. And I wanted to do that. And you said something in the direction that you missed, that you said earlier. You said like dance, like make it like a dance between you and the track. So I want, even when it comes to dancing, you also want to be like subtle. You don't want to start dancing and grinding on a girl immediately. Like let's start getting together and like do this thing subtle and start bringing it in and growing that chemistry. And next thing you know, then we get to where we can get a little bit more comfortable. So I want the song to kind of do the same thing and be subtle with it. And I'm not gonna say what the song really means, but when people find out what the song really means, like they'll be like, "Dang, bro, like that makes sense, bro." So I just wanted to be clever with it, like they were back in the day, but still give it that feel from today. And I think we accomplished that for sure.
oh yeah, bro. Definitely, you tapped into your pen on this one, bro. But just again, the point that I've been making throughout this session is that as more people touch the record, it evolves. And once you got on there vocally, bro, like it really got some wings and took off. So again, salute, man. I just appreciate you, man. Your gift is a blessing to the world, man. And it's always an honor to work with you, man, and create. So again, my
Yeah,
brother, thank you, man.
bro.
I
Hey,
appreciate you.
man. Always true. Before I go, I want to give you your flowers, bro. You've always been a solid guy, man. And sometimes in this industry, it's hard to find genuine people, bro. And you're one of those real people. And I'm also so grateful and honored to be a part of a classic record, a timeless record. We always want to make those type of records, but I believe that we made that with this record, and there's plenty more records on the album that are the same, man. So thank you for being who you are, not only as a person, but even as a producer, bro. You're timeless, bro, and I appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate you. Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that was Trez Bell. moving over the writing direction, the reference points, the record's identity. And now we're moving on to the evolution of the record. Once I had Trez's vocals on Angels Fly, I'm thinking, okay, how else can we take this record up a notch? Enter J. Hot Scott. J. Hot Scott is a master of the talk box and the vocoder. He's a master. He's a producer, he's an artist, he's a composer, he's an engineer. Talk box and vocoder, second to none. And I was honored to have him be a part of this song. And what he did to Angels Fly, out of the stratosphere. But then it's still not done, because we have these elements now. The record continues to evolve. Now the musicianship needs to match the level of everything else that's happening. We have a fantastic foundation. We have the writing direction. We have the sonics. We have the elements of the eras. Now how do we tie it all together? Donald Junebug Rao, composer, musician, he's elite. He gave the colors that the record was missing. And now I have a full sonic picture. I have the goal reached. I have 4 different eras of R&B music on one song. I have the singing style of the 70s. I have the synths and guitars of the 80s. I have the drums of the 90s. I have the melodies of the 2000s, all on one track. Now it just needs to be polished. And that's where we get into the hidden work. Enter Amond Jackson.
As I blow my nose.
No.
You could just leave it in there. The audience will love it. They'll be like, this is such an authentic guy, this AJ.
Perfect. AJ, I'm walking everyone through the entire creation of a record, from the initial idea that's sparked by inspiration to the finished work. And I'm illustrating Angels Fly from State of the Union, and what we did that was so special about that song, going across, bridging 4 eras of R&B music into one song, and constantly detailing how, as hands touch the record, from producer, artist, songwriter, engineer, the song evolves. And now we're at the point where I think it's the most important, and that is the sonics. Getting it all to fit together, putting the final piece of the puzzle, the glue of it all. And that's where yourself, Spice, and Change came in. So if you could walk me through what your thought process was when you actually heard Angels Fly, and just tell us how you shaped it. Because when it got to you, you definitely brought the vision of what I had to life, where it was palatable and it wasn't too busy. It wasn't too chaotic. It was a lot happening, but you settled everything in a way where it just translated beautifully across multiple mediums. So if you can, my friend, can you walk me through that?
Yeah, bro. And I appreciate it. I remember first hearing the record, the way that Trez approached the song was really dope. It gave me this like very nostalgic feeling. You know what I mean? It gave me a lot of like Marvin energy. And the way that the record was put together, which is a kind of a testament to the way that you produce and the amount of work that you've put into at this point, like when you choose sounds to include inside of something you're producing, everything is deliberate and it's like well manicured, but it's not like you're not creating a situation where you're overthinking. It's just you just have a better ear, you know what I mean, than most people do. So you're able to like go grab something and put it in the song, and it just tends to work at this point. Because you've grown so much as a producer. And so when I heard the joint, this song was more about not messing the song up than it was improving the song. So you want to, obviously there's tons of ways we can improve it sonically, but it's like songs that are really, really well done. from an engineering standpoint, you have to be really like mindful of keeping the main thing, and making sure that the soul of the record is not being contaminated, and that everything that you're doing is to enhance the feeling of the song. And that particular song was one of those that was so front loaded with like energy, you know what I mean, and vibe, that it's like we did a lot of what I call death by a thousand paper cuts. I forget where that quote comes from, but death by a thousand paper cuts. So rather than doing, massive, earth shifting single moves, it was just a lot of very tiny micro decisions that inched further toward the goal. You know what I mean? And the combination of that, which to me is the best way to honor good production. It's the best way to honor good songwriting, is to not overdo what you're doing and be very mindful about how you nurture the record. And I think that's ultimately what it is. Something like this is like you nurture the record. You love on the record, and you say, okay, Trez did this with the reverb, and like, how do we enhance that feeling? You know what I mean? Like, how do we cause his voice to feel more focused and still leave the reverb element there, so it still feels airy and ethereal? You know what I mean? Yeah, it was a good vibe, man. It's a good vibe. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just taking the journey with you, reliving the experience, of us through that mixed process, going through the elements, and it was all about taste at that point. To what you're saying, it's all about making tasteful choices. How do we do this? How do we do that? Is it going to be 1 + 1? Or are we doing 2 × 2? Like we're just making aesthetic choices at this point. What feels good, and that was such a fantastic process for me each step of the way. And I think we probably had about a good 20-something versions, but they weren't revisions, but it was just the process. Okay, change to the hook here, or change to this arrangement there, or we're going to bring the talk box down the taste and tuck it here and raise it there. It was just a fantastic experience working with you on the entire album, but definitely on this song, and the opportunity to see you shape this song in real time, us being able to work remotely the way that we did, man. It was just a fantastic experience. And this show is all about the process behind creation. Like we are in charge of making sure the next generation doesn't have to navigate this space in the dark. And the true value in collaborating and not trying to be the person that does everything themselves. We miss out on such a great opportunity to create something beautiful. Because although I can mix a song, I can't Amond Jackson a song.
Here we go, Brad. I appreciate you. And
that's the thing. It's important. It's not only working with people, but it's working with the right people that can help you really create something beautiful. Because I was very careful not to put any shackles on you, because you're a creator too. Engineers are song writers, matter of fact, sound writers. you write sound. Without you, sir, we have nothing. So again,
I feel that. I appreciate you, man. There was something that you said that kind of triggered something for me that I think was really good in terms of process, right? Mm-hmm. Well, 2 things. One, I think the chain of people, like I talk about this all the time, which is like the signal chain inside of, people are like, the signal chain is the microphone, the signal chain is the wires that I'm using on the microphone, is the preamp, it's the, all the different things. And, for me, the preamp, I mean, all those things are important, but the signal chain starts with the people that are involved in the song and the energy that is kind of exchanged between all those individuals. That's the beginning of the signal chain, and then it winds up. What I always say is like you're catching a photograph of a moment. You know what I mean? Or you're catching a photograph of an energy in a moment when you're creating a song. So the recording itself is the photograph, but the energy is part of the signal chain. And so when you sent the songs over, one of the things that made it really good for me was that my guy Spice got in there and got the session organized and did a lot of the very detailed work, looking at things like there's a tiny little click over in this one tiny corner of the song, and like eliminating it before it even gets to me, or manual de-essing, or all of these things that we do to really love on the record that help it to stand out, because the more you amplify the record as you get closer to mastering, the more of these issues come out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So what a lot of people don't know is the more you work on the record and you enhance the record, the more it exposes issues with the record.
Mm-hmm.
So most people just say, you know what, I'm just going to take my hands off it and I'm just going to let it stay hidden in the song. And it's like, well, no, we want that vocal to feel like Trez's vocal was fire. We want you to feel the vocal. So we're going to do what we need to do to make sure that vocal sounds as good as it possibly can before it even hits the first plugin or the first piece of hardware. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. And the other thing that I wanted to mention, which I thought was huge, bro, was when you were talking about the process in terms of the 20 iterations that we might have done, 25 iterations, however many it was. I'm actually tempted to, I'm at the computer now. I'm actually tempted to go look because it was a lot. But this is the thing, right? And this is one of the things I love about engineering is when you do the job really well, what I tend to find is that clients, artists and producers that I work with wind up being able to reimagine the song, because we create so much clarity and so much good focused energy in every single sound in the song that people will say, I forgot I even put this sound in there, or man, there's room to turn this up now or turn this down or whatever, because it's you've cleared so much of the clutter out of the record. It makes sense for you to be you know what? Now we can change the arrangement a little bit, because I don't need so much excessive instrumentation in this one area because everything sounds so clear and full. You know what I'm saying? So I can subtract from that now to create a better emotional impact somewhere else in the record. And that really starts with the structure of you producing a quality record with a quality arrangement, a vocalist doing a quality recording with quality arrangement, and then preparation on the mix side, and then the actual mix, and then the work that we do cooperatively to bring it all back together and make decisions together, and then wrap it up and go to mastering. And my guy Change absolutely blew it away. So big thanks to Spice and Change. Man.
Spice is actually Spice is a gem. A fan. First of all, Spice is one of the best human beings you can ever meet, and to have him put his stamp on the project with the love and care that he did, man, there's nothing that was contributed from anyone that could be taken away and the record stay the same. It's
a fact.
That's what makes this whole thing special. Everybody's contribution made this song special. If I took away one person, the song just doesn't work. It would be nowhere near as good as it was. It wouldn't be good. That's how instrumental everybody was. Change, oh my goodness. Vinyl, CD, and digital.
Yep.
3 different masters.
You know what's really crazy about the album, and one of my favorite things about it is something that people probably won't talk about, is that it feels like a high budget album that was an independent album, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was not this massive record label budget, but when you listen to it, you can't tell.
Right.
That's a testament to everybody that was involved. You know what I mean? And nobody feeling comfortable saying it's good enough. You know what I mean? Like we're going to actually do the work that's required to make this what we find special. And the more special the record is, the more important it is for you to give it the love it needs and not try to take shortcuts. You know what I mean? It's just a phenomenal album, bro. And that particular song on the album, you can call me anytime about any one of these songs, and we can go on for a whole day talking about every single one of the songs. There's so much good music on this album, and the way that you combine these different genres is crazy. And somehow they all fit, and it feels like it was always like that. So,
man, thank you,
yeah,
bro.
you killed it.
Well, I feel great. I got to talk to my guy. You got to talk about music. And again, everybody, this is Amond Jackson. Please do yourself a favor and tap in with him. Not only is he a fantastic human being, but just a wealth of knowledge and information, and a person who really cares about sound. And that's rare when you have somebody who really loves the music to that level of care. So again, grateful.
Thank you, brother.
To have you as a friend and call you my brother. And we will continue
Likewise.
to do great things, man.
Yes, sir. This is just the first one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. And congratulations on this, man. I think this is really, really helpful for people. So, I would encourage you to keep doing these as often as you can. I think people need this information, and it's not floating around out there easily. It's not going to create podcast bro energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we need stuff like this, man. So salute.
Thank you, my friend. I'm on it.
Yes, sir. Peace.
So that was Amond Jackson. So now what did we just do? I took you down the evolution of Angels Fly, and it had technically 9 points, starting with myself, then producer Ben Ford, Sam Mandell, Trez Bell, J. Hot Scott, Donald Junebug Rao, Spice, Amond Jackson, and Change finished it off with the mastering. The record evolved. It shaped from the idea I initially had to the final version that you all get to hear now. A couple of things I want you to take away from today's session. The first version is rarely ever the final version. I don't want you to underestimate the amount of revisions involved, and I don't want you to underestimate the patience that you'll need to have. Ultimately, a record becomes what it's supposed to be through the process. The lesson is bigger than how the song gets made. It's really about learning how to stay with an idea long enough for it to become what it's supposed to be. The final record is what people hear, but the process is what creators live. If you know a creator that needs to hear this, send them this episode. And if you want more conversations like this about the process behind creation, subscribe to Titan Sound Sessions. I'm your host, Double A. I'll see you soon.